All right, here we go. We got the ZXR250R. Some All right, and then of course we have the RC51. All right, so we got these two bikes. My last video, I pitted the RC51 2004 against the 2019 Ducati V4R. I was really pleasantly surprised, but like really surprised that everybody picked the RC51. I just figured with how just much performance and how much further steps forward the Ducati V4R was, that everybody would, maybe it'd even be, you know, a 50-50, right? But the RC51 was definitely by far and away the winner. Everybody commented they'd much rather have this bike than the V4R. Just surprised me. So now let's go the other way. Let's go back in time. Let's go the other way. Instead of a bike that's newer and more horsepower and better performance than the RC51, let's go back in time to this Kawasaki ZXR250R. So this bike revs to 19,000 RPMs. It is 47 horsepower. Obviously, it's a lot lighter. Both these bikes, this probably is a better comparison just from the simple fact that they're both analog bikes. So neither one of these bikes has the traction control, wheelie control, slide control, engine braking settings, things like that. So obviously the RC51 is a World Superbike winner. The 250R, a race bike, but on a much smaller scale. This one is a Japanese import, Japanese domestic import, was not available in the US. This one, these RC51s are more rare than like a Fireblade or a CBR, but you do see a heck of a lot more of them than something like this, right? So if it was you, weigh in the comments, which one would you want? Would you go for something that's maybe a little bit more track proven and more horsepower, probably better suspension, things like that? Or would you go for something super unique, the bright colors, the 250? A lot of guys commented on the V4R RC51 comparison that they'd rather have a smaller, lighter bike on the track than something that had, you know, crazy amounts of horsepower. The comment was made that horsepower has diminishing returns. Once you get over, you know, 100 and some horsepower, then it's more up to the rider. And comments were that, you know, a good rider will, you know, be able to compensate and take something like a 250 much further than someone, you know, a regular rider could take like an RC51 or a V4R, right? So I don't know, just kind of a interesting comparison. Curious what you guys think. I have been on this bike, the 250R, more this week. Just enjoying it. You know, it's a high revving bike. Even, you know, when you're not going that fast, it sounds like you're going a million miles an hour. I kind of like, you know, in traffic and whatnot, I wonder if people are thinking like, hey, why is this guy revving it so much? It's a high revving bike. Even when you're just going normal speeds, it's revving pretty high. You know, if you're just cruising along, you're kind of in that, you know, 8 to 10,000 RPM, not all the way up to redlining at 19,000 RPM. So, so once I got off this bike and back on the RC51 this week, the RC51 did feel much taller. It felt like, you know, this being a super bike with the low handlebars and things like that, always feels like a much more, you know, racy position. When I got back on this one this week, it felt more like a supermoto. I felt like I was just way up there, you know, looking over traffic and whatnot. So it's always fun to ride something different and hop on your A bike again. You might be a little bit more aware of the A bike. You know, different things. Like I feel like the braking is so much better on the RC51. Just probably just, you know, common sense things, but like I can actually feel it. I can pick out the differences now after being on a different bike for a while. So weigh in on the comments. I'm loving the discussions. Would you take this high revving ZXR 250R that you can't get in the United States, or would you take this beautiful RC51? All right, guys, talk to you later. Thanks.